Last episode, we asked whether we're ready for what's coming. And honestly, I've been thinking about that question all week because the more you look into it, the harder it is to answer with any confidence.
That's probably the right reaction. Most of the predictions around advanced AI aren't just technical forecasts. They're forecasts about how society itself might change, for better or worse.
Today, we're going to talk about speed because if some of these timelines are even close to being right, we may not be talking about a distant future at all. Let's start with the date that keeps coming up 2027. Some prediction markets, some people inside major labs are suggesting that AGI, artificial and general intelligence, is on the horizon for then. When you hear that, what goes through your mind?
It's easy to dismiss it as hype, but the predictions aren't coming from fringe bloggers. They're coming from people building these systems. They see the progress curves internally, they see how quickly the models are scaling. The models aren't just getting bigger, they're showing emergent capabilities, things they weren't explicitly trained to do. That's the part that makes a date like 2027 feel plausible, if unsettlingly so. It's not just a random number. It comes from tracking the exponential growth in computing power, the efficiency of new AI architectures, and the massive capital investment. The progress isn't linear. We're seeing capabilities that experts, just a few years ago, thought were a decade away. So while 2027 might be optimistic, the trend is undeniable. 3 years. That feels impossibly close. For something so transformative, it feels like it should be a distant science fiction concept, not something that could happen in a single presidential term. Is that a serious prediction, or is it just designed to grab headlines? Exactly. It presumes the economy functions in the same basic way, that there's enough taxable surplus from the AI driven economy to fund everyone. But what if the goal of AGI isn't to create taxable profits in the traditional sense, but to achieve goals that have nothing to do with human economics? What stands out to me isn't the exact year, it's the implication.
And implications are a many.
AGI means intelligence that can do essentially anything a human can do, only faster, cheaper, and without fatigue.
So, not just better tools, not just smarter software.
Right, it's closer to creating a new kind of worker, one that doesn't need sleep, wages, or motivation.
People usually imagine automation as this slow, manageable process. A few jobs disappear, new ones appear, and we adjust.
That mental model breaks down once intelligence itself becomes abundant.
Right.
If cognitive labor is essentially free, it stops making sense to hire humans for most tasks, especially anything done on a computer.
So, when people hear that, they picture high unemployment, but you're talking about something much more extreme.
Potentially, not 10 or 20% unemployment, numbers that already cause instability, but levels we've never experienced before.
Okay. And?
And a world where the majority of traditional jobs simply aren't needed. It's a patch, not a solution. It solves the how do people eat problem, but it doesn't solve the what do people do problem. And the economics of it are staggering.
That's the point where people usually stop listening. Let's make this uncomfortable for a second. Take something like podcasting, this conversation. Do you actually need us here?
If you break it down honestly, preparation, questioning, follow ups, presentation, those are all patterns.
Okay.
AI systems can already analyze every interview you've done, understand which questions resonate, and generate new ones optimized for engagement.
And even the visuals?
Trivial. High quality video simulations are already possible. At some point, the distinction between a human hosted show and an AI generated one becomes mostly psychological.
So the value isn't ability, it's preference.
Exactly. And preference is a very small market.
For decades, the advice has been simple. If your job is disappearing, retrain.
That advice assumes there's another job waiting, but if intelligence itself is automated, there's no obvious place to retrain to.
We've already watched this play out in real time. Learn to code, then prompt engineering, then nothing.
Each new safe skill lasts a shorter amount of time. That's a signal that we're not dealing with normal technological change anymore.
People often jump straight to money. universal basic income, abundance, cheap goods.
Those are solvable problems. The harder question is what people do with their time and who they are without work.
We already see how destabilizing retirement can be for some people, and that's what decades to prepare.
Now imagine that happening to entire populations all at once.
Right, all at once.
Identity, routine, purpose, those don't disappear quietly.
Whenever this comes up, someone inevitably says, can't we just turn it off?
That assumes control over systems that are distributed, adaptive, and potentially smarter than we are.
Yes.
That assumption doesn't hold for long.
So the fear isn't really evil humans with powerful tools,
No, it's intelligence itself moving beyond our ability to predict or guide it.
which is a deeply unsettling thought.
It should be, but pretending it's not happening doesn't make us safer.
So maybe the most honest answer isn't optimism or panic, it's humility.
Because once intelligence becomes the invention, not the tool, we're in unfamiliar territory.
Very true. Next time, we'll ask what might replace work, not economically, but psychologically. Because if work disappears, something else has to fill that space.